If you want to hear my update for my 2019 no buy year, then stick around. Okay, we are doing this. I have my list and I have my updates, and I'm going to stop procrastinating. We are February 4th, and I have been filming just about any other sort of video other than my no buy update. For some reason, I don't want to tackle the subject, but I'm putting my big girl pants on and we are doing this. Okay, so if you have seen my no buy year introduction, then you would be familiar with the 5 elements involved in my no buy year. If you haven't seen the introduction and you're curious, I will link it right here. But let me just recap for you really quickly. I felt the need to do a no buy year because, well, for a few reasons. I want to rediscover the beauty of delayed gratification. I also want to reduce the size of my collection through usage. I have multiples of many things that I know that a year of replacement only would really take care of. And I just want to play with my stuff more. And by constantly looking outside, I'm not looking inside in what brings me joy and inside my house as far as what I already have. So those are kind of the bigger themes. So then why am I reluctant to film this video? What's the issue? Have I screwed up in a major way? Not at all. If anything, I'm kind of sheepish because I don't feel like I'm entitled to a gold star, and I want to expand on what I mean by that by going through the 5 categories of behavior that I wanted to address in order to make my no buy successful. So the first one was that I was to use and enjoy what I already own. And I feel like January was a little bit tainted in accomplishing number 1. And a reason for that is I did not anticipate the fact that I would, because I bought things up to the end of the year, that some items would take a couple of weeks to get to me. So I was still receiving packages through the mail until almost the 3rd week of January. I mean, by the 3rd week of January, it was one thing that was left outstanding, and that was the Cleonad little box unboxing that I did. If you have not seen that one, I will put that video there. And that's the only thing of the new things that kind of came in that I was really showing, because I vowed not to do hauls or unboxings on this channel. I did the Cleonad unboxing because I wanted to show you the care and attention that indie brand took to package and send product, because I thought it was phenomenal, and that's why I wanted to show it. But apart from that, I am not showing what comes in. And it's not because I'm embarrassed about it or whatever, but I just don't want to encourage the, oh, and I got this, and I got this, and I got this, because that just kind of encourages the purchasing as opposed to the discovering and using. Anyway, so because of that, I don't feel like January was a full month of no buy, if that makes sense. Because I kept having the rush of things coming in, even though I wasn't placing orders. So yeah, here I'm taking credit for a full month, but I don't feel like I've actually experienced a full month. And now that we are in February, now I'm kind of saying, okay, well, it was almost like a honeymoon period in January, and now I really wonder how February is going to go. So I don't want to take out the pom-poms and go, aren't I great? This is so awesome. I am just killing it. Not really. It's artificial, because again, I was benefiting from my bad behavior still in December because I got the joy of newness, whatever that means, in January. So that is my first observation. is use and enjoy what I already own while I was still showing a lot of new things. These were not things that I already owned. That said, I have also done videos featuring a number of products that I've had in my collection for a while, and so that felt really good. And I have had some makeup playtime sessions. One of them was the result of my participation in the Rolling Project Pan, which is a video published on the 5th of every month. So you'll see it on the 5th on this channel, at least for the next couple of months. It ends, I think, on March 5th or April 5th, one of the two. And so in that video, I select something that requires me to select a shade from a palette that I don't use very often. So I did that. But in doing so, I rediscovered that palette, and it led me to play with another palette, and then so on and so forth. I ended up having me a little swatch party. And let me just show you which one started the whole thing. This one right here, which is why I keep it very much out. I had to select a shade out of this palette, and I ended up selecting Bordello. And I selected that one because I have this in this palette, and I also have it as a single. And I just rediscovered how much I like the shade, and then I started swatching a ton of these. And there are a ton of these that are absolutely fantastic. And even this Voodoo shade, I took out the Voodoo pencil that came from the holiday collection this past Christmas, and I have it on my inner waterline, and along with Asphyxia a little bit lower, and I'm rediscovering colors is all I'm saying. And the swatch parties are making me realize, swatch parties, I'm saying plural. I've done one good session, and I've swatched here and there, but the swatch sessions are making me realize, rediscover, re-experience the joy and the excitement of swatching a palette the first time. So if you haven't used a palette for a while, that going back and rediscovering it, you kind of go, oh yeah, oh wow, I forgot how nice this shade was, or I forgot how these two shadows go together. And then you also play around with, at least in my case, on layering. And something triggers the idea of trying something else with a few other shadows. And that's really what I love about makeup, is the creative process. So I definitely had one of those sessions and have rediscovered part of what made me enjoy this palette to begin with. And I find it ironic because this is a palette that I talked about regretting buying, and part of it was because of the packaging, the way it doesn't quite close. And now I'm kind of going, I like it more than I remembered. So who knows if it is going to go from a regret to something that I really like. And not a spoiler, because I'm not telling you which one, but in my palettes I regret buying, and I'll put the link right here, I talked about something that I regretted buying, and I explained part of why, but in thinking about it more afterwards, I think there's another reason why I regret buying them. And I'm going to test out the theory, so that is going to be coming up as well. I have so many projects, so many ideas for this year that I am not at a loss for videos, let me tell you. Okay, I have gone on a total tangent. But yes and no, because that's the whole point. It was a going from consumerism to actually being more materialistic, which to me means enjoying what you have and using what you have. So I'm trying to go from a consumerist, the joy of buying, to a materialist, which is the joy of enjoying what it is that we have and getting the full benefit out of the things, the stuff that surrounds us. So number one, use and enjoy what I already own. Yes and no. So I've been rediscovering things that I own. I've been enjoying thoroughly a number of products, including stuff I'm panning, which is great. But I still have that trickle of the residual of my consumerist self from December. Number 2 in my 5 rules was only replace what I have used up and only replace items if I deem it necessary or desirable. So when it comes to that, when it's makeup, I'm going to use up a whole category of products before I allow myself to go and buy something new. So for example, if I run out of a mechanical pencil for eyebrows, I will go and use another mechanical pencil, not buy the same one that I was using up, but it goes further than that. So if I run out of those, I will use a pomade. If I run out of pomade, I will use a root touch-up cream. If I run out of that, it goes and goes until I really am out of brow products, if that makes sense. Now, of course, if it's a color product, as long as I run out of color products, I can buy some more. But I wouldn't say that because I have setting gel that I don't need brow tint, right? So, I mean, it's got to be something that I can truly substitute for another product. My replacement items, the stuff where I'm going, ooh, I'm going to have an issue, is more so for my non-makeup items, because I'm actually doing a no-buy across categories. So I'm not buying clothes, I'm not buying any kind of other care items other than food and entertainment. I will definitely allow myself to travel. I will definitely allow myself to go out and enjoy a meal with friends. It's more the material stuff. And I forgot to mention a couple of purchases. But I guess it's in number 2 for a couple purchases. So let me explain what I have done. I had a gift card that was left over from Christmas for $50 for Shoppers Drug Mart. And I ended up purchasing a Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair. And usually they're $36, and I was able to get it for 25 less 30%. So it's about 18, something. And I had a $50 gift card. Well, I bought with the rest of the $50 stuff that we always buy. I bought 90% chocolate. I bought eggs. I bought, I think, some fruit. Just basically adding up to using up the gift card so I wouldn't have it anymore to get stuff that I really don't need. But I was very happy that I was able to get that Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair at the 50% off, because if there's anything that gives me anxiety in this no-buy, is I don't want to buy that stuff full price. I just don't. I just would not in any other circumstance, and I don't want to during this no-buy. And that's probably the only one where I may buy 2 at a time. And I can't feel bad about it because it's 2 for 1, and it's something that I use and go through every 6 weeks to 2 months. It's just not, and it's not exactly frivolous. I see it as very utilitarian. It would be like somebody freaking out over me buying 2 tubes of toothpaste. I just don't, that's just not one I'm going to feel bad about. But anyway, despite that, I only bought the one because I still have another backup. So to me, it's 2. So I don't want to have more than 2 kicking around extra from the one I'm using. So to me, buying one was fine. I'm rambling at this point, but it was a big deal for me to actually only buy one, I got to tell you. And I was entitled. I had the gift card. I could have bought 2. So it's one of those things where I really feel like I did good by only using part of the gift card and letting the rest go to day-to-day items and not buying anything else. And I will not say that I was not tempted by a number of other things. I will give you a few examples. One of them was that a brand that I featured on this channel, and I've been calling them the wrong thing, and I think I did the same thing in the beginning of the video, Cleona Cosmetics. It's not Cleonad, it's Cleona Cosmetics. It's an Irish name. I saw this past weekend that they were having I think 20% off and $5 flat rate shipping sale. And oh my goodness, I would have been all over that and then some. So that was something to resist, and I did. There's something else that caught my eye, and that was that at Sephora, the Ciate London eyeshadows, at least 3 different palettes. The smaller palettes that they have that are part of their regular collection, they all went 50% off. Had I not been on my no buy, I would have been all over those like a dirty shirt. I like everything that I've purchased so far from Ciate London, and those I feel strongly would have been no exception. I have enough eyeshadow, I'm letting them go by, and it's fine. But I have to say that I would definitely have been tempted. I'm just going to check my phone because I think that there were some other ones that I would have hopped on pretty quickly. And there are a couple of brands that I would have been probably checking out during this year because they look so good. One of them is Kaleidos Cosmetics, and like I think Kaleidos is like kaleidoscope, Kaleidos, I guess. And gosh, their stuff is beautiful. And the other one is Touch of Glam Beauty. I think it's an Etsy store, and her stuff is absolutely beautiful. So Touch of Glam Beauty is one that I'm very, very interested in. So I have definitely been looking at some brands and some new releases that yeah, they caught my eye. And I still watch YouTube, and some of my favorite YouTubers are coming up with some of these brands. And yeah, I won't lie, of course I'm curious about them, but I'm writing them down on the wish list and learning to admire the product without having to feel the need to discover how I can find a sale and get my hands on it. So that's fine. And I'm also realizing how many beautiful products that I would covet if they weren't in my collection, that are in my collection, and that I have either not used yet or not used thoroughly in the way that I thought I would use them when I first bought them. So I have a ton of consuming to do right here, right where I am with what I have. And when it comes to non-makeup items, there are a number of things that are popping up. One of them is my winter boots. They're hurting my heel. They are causing me pain when I walk, and I don't have the proper pair of socks to help me with that. And so I don't, if it continues to be a problem that I can't resolve, I may very well this spring, when clearance items are on, get myself a pair of winter boots to finish off the winter season and be ready for next year. I will try to see if I can make do without, but it is something that health and safety I may just have to do. For now, I'm just finagling what I can. And also a snow shovel. We have a very wide snow shovel, and we have a broom for our steps, but when we get 6 to 12 inches of snow, a broom ain't gonna cut it, and the very wide shovel doesn't work for our steps. And we have people coming in and out of the house every day for my small business, and we can't have a safety issue. So if I don't find I can clear off the snow with possibly a square metal shovel that we have, I may have to get one of those. And that was absolutely not something I was intending to get. But again, if we end up having to, I don't think those are frivolous purchases. I did make one purchase that I should mention. Is I had promised a friend of mine this fall that I would frame a petit point piece that I had completed some time ago for her son's room. And that gifts I am allowed to offer, so I did pay for the framing of that craft and have since given it to her, and it gave me a ton of joy to gift her not only the frame, of course, but the contents of the frame, which is a piece of cross stitching that I did some time ago. So that was really, really nice. Oh, and I also gifted some of my makeup supplies to a friend of mine. I shared some of my Makeup Forever glitters, and I shared a glitter applicator that was on clearance back in December at Sephora, and I got a few for some friends, and also a NYX glitter glue. So she's hooked up when it comes to to glitter and glitter glue and glitter applicators. So it was a lot of fun to help somebody discover possibly improved method of adding a glitter into her beauty regimen for special occasions. So I thought that was awesome. And I think that's it. I don't think I've purchased anything else since then. I purchased an online course, but that's absolutely fits with what I'm trying to do more of as opposed to try to do less of. And the online course is to help me with maintain my professional designation, so it's not exactly super discretionary. Next up, so that's all I have as far as replace and purchase items that are necessary and whatnot. Number 3 was eliminate shopping time and time spent investigating products. I can tell you that I have eliminated leisure shopping. So strolling through Sephora just to see what there is, or Ulta or Shoppers Drug Mart. I am actually going in investigating a specific thing. For example, I was very curious last week to say, how long do holiday offers stick around? And I was very surprised that in the 3rd week of January, there was still some holiday stuff on offer. And so that is good for me to know. It's not something I ever wondered, because I would have been right there the 1st week of January grabbing stuff. I was just seeing how far discounted things were, and I found it very informative. So that was a specific purpose, not to say, oh, what am I looking for that's going to tempt me? I really wasn't. I was just more from a marketing background, just kind of checking it out. And time investigating products, I did inform myself on a few things that have recently been released because of my ability to talk about products and review products. I just wanted to better understand some stuff that folks have been talking about from a usability, purpose, intention of the product, a purpose, not for the purposes of drooling over stuff that I can't get. It was actually pretty utilitarian, so I'm not concerned about that. And so I decided to not count, because I was going to measure time spent doing that, but I think it's a lot more important for me to measure time spent on the things that I say are important. And for me, it's writing, reading, producing videos that are of value, and doing other things that are personal development. So, and catching up on things that I've been procrastinating on with said shopping, right? Or browsing. So to me, it's going to be more, what do I produce that is not things that I'm trying to avoid, if that makes sense. I think it's a much better measure, as opposed to focusing on the not, to focus on the do. We're already done number 4. Number 4 was redirect reclaimed time to other loves. So producing content, YouTube and blogging, speaking, playing / training, investing in myself. And I am definitely doing that. I'm producing a ton of content for YouTube. I'm also rekindling my interest in producing content for another real estate that I have online, which is Free to Pursue. So that is a platform that I have just resumed writing for. And interestingly enough, the first one was about doing my no-buy year, because it fits with the ability to live life on your terms when you are not kind of feeling shackled to a behavior that, in my case, I knew was not serving me. It was a salve for how some things in my life weren't going well, and I was using shopping as a major distraction. Expensive hobby, but that's what it was. It was a distraction. And so I have been redirecting. I have been speaking. I have been blogging. I have been YouTubing more than I was last year. And also the YouTube content that I'm producing, I feel, is reasonably valuable. And if anything, I want to make it even more valuable over time with some processes and methods and techniques that I'm using that I think that more of us can use and discover even more in our collection. So I'm really excited for the coming weeks and months to do more of that. And number 5 is to plunge deeply back into reading. And I have done some of that. I have finished a book that I really wanted to finish, and I will have more going into that category in February. So there are a couple of books I want to read in February, and also a couple of book reviews that I want to produce, and that is really going to be significant for me. I also have a financial project for one of the businesses that we have. I am 3 months behind in doing some stuff that I wanted to do from a business finance perspective, and I am catching up on those in February now that I don't have the distraction / avoidance behavior that my shopping was enabling. So I'm really looking forward to that because it's been starting to weigh on me pretty heavily. So it will be nice to use my time in a more productive way. So yes, I'm hoping to change my book number from 1 to 2, but I think I'm just getting into it, and I think that as long as I see that I'm doing more of what I say I want to do and less of what I say I don't want to do, I'm moving in the right direction. So that is a really long answer, I guess, to how my no-buy first month has gone. And going into February, I am doing okay as far as how I'm doing at this point. I had some couple bad days just personally, and I found myself triggered to want to do some things that aren't optimal. I didn't do anything that I was not supposed to, as far as, I didn't buy anything. I didn't I didn't spend time doing things I really shouldn't. As a matter of fact, I ended up doing some things that I'd been putting off for a while, like revamping my Slaying My Samples project, which the video, if it's not up already, it'll be up soon. And that had been something that I'd been putting off for a few different reasons that I talk about in the video. But yeah, just doing some housekeeping. Just doing some housekeeping and feeling pretty good about it. And some of the things I want to do that I've been avoiding, I'm going to do a closet declutter that it's been on my wish list for a while. So I'm probably going to get that done in February. I just don't want to overcommit. I don't want to stress myself out because I'll start avoiding again. Well, let's just say a clothing declutter and a catching up on some of the financial stuff that I want to get done. Those will be two big things that have been hanging over my head for a long time, that this no-buy is giving me the mental space to think about and to plan for and to execute. So that's it. I will stop talking about all this stuff. I thank you very much for your patience, for your time, and for listening to me ramble on and on. And I look forward to updating you at the end of February. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.